The Glory of Agrippina and Germanicus, a portrait by Sir Peter Paul Rubens. Sir Peter Paul Rubens, a celebrated Flemish painter of the Baroque era, was fascinated by the ancient sculpture of Greece and Rome. He spent 9 years in Italy, where he studied and copied the classical forms and motifs that he encountered in marble, bronze, gems, and coins. He used these sources as inspiration for his own paintings, which often depicted historical and mythological scenes from antiquity. One of his most striking paintings is the double-profile portrait of Agrippina and Germanicus, which he executed around 1614. Agrippina was the granddaughter of Emperor Augustus, and Germanicus was her husband and a renowned general of the Roman Empire. They were both admired for their virtues and achievements, and were the parents of Emperor Caligula and the grandparents of Emperor Nero. The painting, which is now in the collection of the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C., resembles a cameo in its subject and composition. A cameo is a carved gem or shell that shows a relief image of a person or a scene. Cameos were popular in ancient times, and were often worn as jewelry or used as seals. Rubens was familiar with many examples of ancient cameos, and he even owned some in his personal collection. However, Rubens did not simply copy a cameo for his painting. He added his own artistic flair and creativity, and made the figures of Agrippina and Germanicus look alive and expressive. He painted them in oil on a wooden panel, measuring 66.4 by 57 centimeters unframed and 95.25 by 86 by 9.53 centimeters with its frame. He used light and color to create a vivid contrast between the subjects and the dark background. The light, coming from the front, illuminates their faces and clothes, creating a halo-like effect that enhances their nobility. The color scheme is rich and harmonious, with the dominant tones of white, red, and gold. Rubens also deviated from the traditional arrangement of double-profile portraits, which usually showed the male figure in the foreground and the female figure in the background. Here, he reversed the order, and placed Agrippina in front of Germanicus. This was a deliberate choice, as he wanted to emphasize Agrippina's importance and connection to his hometown of Cologne. Agrippina was born in Cologne, and she helped to defend the city from a Germanic attack in AD 14. She also named the city after her daughter, Agrippina the Younger, who was the mother of Emperor Nero. Rubens was proud of his native city, and he honored its patroness by giving her the prominent position in his painting. Agrippina and Germanicus are shown from the shoulders up, facing to the left in profile. They are situated behind a stone ledge that runs along the bottom edge of the composition. Agrippina has a pale skin with faintly blushed cheeks, brown eyes, and reddish-gold hair. She wears a pearl headdress with a red jewel, a lace ruff, and a gossamer-white fabric around her neck. She looks ahead with a calm and dignified expression. Germanicus has a tan skin, brown eyes, and auburn-brown hair. He wears a burgundy-red robe around his shoulders. He also looks ahead with a serious and resolute expression. The number 19 is painted in the lower left corner of the painting, but its meaning is unclear. It may be a reference to the year of the painting, or to the age of Agrippina when she married Germanicus, or to some other unknown significance. The portrait of Agrippina and Germanicus is not only a remarkable work of art, but also a historical document that reveals the culture and society of ancient Rome and its influence on the Renaissance and Baroque periods. Agrippina and Germanicus were among the most illustrious figures of their time, and their legacy was both glorious and tragic. They were revered for their courage and generosity, but they also suffered from the intrigues and violence of the imperial court. Agrippina died of an illness in AD 33, and Germanicus was poisoned in AD 19, allegedly by the orders of Emperor Tiberius. Their descendants, Caligula and Nero, became notorious for their tyranny and madness. Rubens, who was a scholar and a diplomat as well as a painter, was well versed in the history and mythology of antiquity. He admired the classical ideals of beauty and heroism, but he also recognized the human flaws and passions that shaped the fate of empires and individuals. He combined these elements with his own originality and genius, and created a distinctive style that made him one of the most influential and prolific painters of his time. His portraits, in particular, are renowned for their realism, vitality, and richness. The portrait of Agrippina and Germanicus is one of the many masterpieces that Rubens created during his career, and one of the finest examples of his portrait painting. It is a testament to his artistic skill, and to the glory of Agrippina and Germanicus and their era.